beginning to look a lot like a Christmas episode of Hook Cooks. That is right, ladies, gentlemen, and our friends between and beyond. I can now announce in words passed down through the eons that 'tis the season. I am Mitch the Monster Chef, and tonight in the kitchen of creativity, we are decking the halls. I'm talking jingle bells. I'm talking tinsel. I'm talking chestnut-stuffed reindeer roasting on an open fire. We're here. We're in cheer. Get used to it.
My name is Dishbot. Tonight I will be playing the role of Jack. This is my first human Christmas since I tried to unsuccessfully destroy the world. And, you know, I was just sort of wondering, who is this cool Chris guy, you know?
He died for our sins.
Yeah, right. I don't understand what that means.
Before we get completely off track, I am your Christmas critic, Connor. I have a Christmas poem for the two of you and for Vinny, listeners too. For some, Christmas means family. For some, Christmas means God. For me, I choose to use this time to intake thick eggnog. By buckets do I yog the nog, by gallons do I gurgle. Each carton that I crumple is another conquered hurdle. Think with finer detail how the nog would slake my chin. Rivulets of eggnog, cleansing all my mortal sin. Good for skin and mind, I sputter, through the viscous yellow. Happy Nogmas, one and all, with love, one nog-bound fellow.
Oh, man, imagining you sputtering through a stream of eggnog.
It's great because I didn't need to focus in on it dripping down your chin, but you forced me.
Was it good for skin and mind?
Time to roll up our sleeves for a holly jolly shift here in the Hook Cook kitchen. I am excited, as always I am, to take a pre-prepared prompt from our producer Vinny and turn that into a dashing, blitzing, and oftentimes red-nosed radio play segment that we call The Plate Up. If you'd like to submit your own prompt in for hookery and or cookery, you can shoot that through to cooksofhooks@gmail.com or reach out to us across the socials with @hook_cooks. Speaking of that prompt, chefs, BFFs, my ho-ho homies, let's get cooking. What are we working with?
The prompt today, our merry little prompt, is Joy Division.
Joy Division.
TM.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's got that one right.
I don't think so.
We can release a track onto Spotify that's just called Joy Division, can't we?
Safe and sound, yes. Yeah, I spoke to our lawyers.
It is the time of joy, the season for feeling that special bubbly feeling that we do call joy. Well, I'm really excited about this joyous prompt. Obviously, we always start the show off with our best before yesterdays. First thoughts, worst thoughts. Mitch, since you presented the prompt, I'm going to pivot. I want to hear from Jack. Jack, what is your best before yesterday?
Yeah, all right. I got a quickie. Joy Division. Much needed rebranding of Long Division aimed at enticing Marie Kondo fans.
It's a you got a chuckle out of me.
I feel like I'm being negged on like my own podcast, and I don't entirely understand that.
I think what you do, Jack, sparks joy for me, and I think it's rough that Connor did chuckle and then said aloud that he chuckled, thus negating the impact of his chuckle.
Really destroying it all. It's the giving season after all.
But
it's the season, yeah. It's sleigh bells jingling. All right, well, Mitch, what have you got? How will you bring out the disappointed kind of dad in the Christmas movie within me?
Yeah, I think that's already happened. It's
bubbling
given
to the surface. Yes.
Joy Division. If I have 18 happiness and I decide to share that happiness equally between myself and my 2 Hook Cook co-hosts, how much happiness does each Hook Cook get? Please show you're working out.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Big math got their fingers in this one.
Yeah.
You're beginning to harmonize in terms of the you're consistently bringing pretty funny.
Shit,
I'll take that. Wow. I didn't realize this was a judged show.
Yeah.
I'm shaking it off. I'm feeling that joy, not divided, but shared.
Carry the fun.
I love it. I'm filled with Yuletide love. I know so many synonyms for Christmas.
Stop drinking eggnog, Connor. So much eggnog.
Gotta breathe, man.
Oh, God.
It is. My back teeth are floating, and while they do continue to float in that sweet Yuletide cream, can I get a meat and potatoes serving? Jack, what is your meat and potatoes?
Here we go. Joy Division. Wake up. Eat. Work. Eat. Sleep. Repeat. And so continues the life of an elf assigned to the production line at Joy Division, an auxiliary branch of Santa Studios, itself a registered subsidiary of the Holiday Essentials Group, which is, of course, wholly owned and operated by PSYCORP. The days are long and difficult, the machinery is mostly designed for human hands, and the OSHA regulations are non-existent, given the factory is located in the North Pole. What matters, though, is that the listener and their band of fellow elves are doing it for the kids. Or at least, that's what Santa says in his quarterly vidcasts to all Joy Division employees. Really, who knows where the countless shipments of toys really go? They're packed into PSYCORP containers and shipped off to PSYCORP holding facilities. More importantly, though, who's asking?
I like the idea of it being like a gotta find the Christmas spirit. The Christmas is being corporatized,
Yeah. So the sort of long form sketch out of this in my head that I had was like, yes, PSYCORP has taken over Christmas, and maybe they've like trapped Santa in some way, and they're not distributing the toys that the elves make for kids. They're like profiting off them in some way, some evil, nefarious fashion.
Like by selling them to kids?
No, I want it to be more evil and nefarious than that. I don't know.
Sure.
Maybe they're like, I don't know, transferring them into some sort of laser beam.
Turning them into Fortnite skins.
Yeah, turning them into Fortnite.
Something
that's
kids
it.
love.
And yeah, you sort of are an elf trying to, I don't know, break that. Save Christmas, save Santa.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like any, larger story where you kind of quit your job, like our favorite film on this podcast, Wanted, where you quit your average job and a magic word.
We are maybe the only sort of vehicle for Wanted continuing to be mentioned.
Yes, our Wanted fan cast cooks.
We're also the only thing that anyone could talk about Wanted is that they bend bullets in Wanted. It's the only reference you should make, and we are stuck on that magic loom. Mitch, before we get too carried away thinking about how the elves will save Christmas from nasty Scrooge PSYCORP, please tell me what your meat and potatoes is today.
Alrighty. Joy Division. In the Candy Cane Kingdom, life used to be just. No matter what kind of toy maker you were, you could always count on a fair and equitable slice of the merriment pie. Now, however, the wants and wishes of children out in the real world have grown singular, and a few elves have begun to form a monopoly. The crafty elves, which used to make and distribute cute wooden rocking horses, have been displaced by the tech elves, who make and distribute Robux and Fortnite skins. Worse still, those elves covet and do not share their wealth. In an effort to return peace and prosperity to all Christmasdom, Santa has hired you, an elite squadron of merry mercenaries, to form Joy Division. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, use the powers of Christmas to steal from the rich and give to the poor, take back the means of production, and ensure the joyful spirit is shared equally among all comrades of the Candy Cane Kingdom. Sorry, got a little
Yeah.
A little carried away at the end there.
Kind of a communist Christmas vibe at the end there, which I enjoy. I like that you've both again gravitated around the same fulcrum within the black hurtling space that we find ourselves in. You are bound yet again to the same innovative solar system of
you reckon,
thought.
like, at episode 50 of this podcast, it's just going to be you talking to me and Mitch synced up.
Yeah, you'll be harmonizing. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, it'll be like, we are Dishbot and Monster Chef. Yeah, it's going to be very disconcerting, but I'll probably be AI. So don't worry about it. While we are still here, let's muse upon the offerings before us. So much synergy, so much seasonal synergy. This one is simmering with seasonal synergy. I think the elves like forming a monopoly, this idea of like stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, I really like that. I want to incorporate that into the larger structure that we already have with Jack's idea. Maybe Santa hires you, but he's ultimately the one responsible. Like he's the one that's actually monopolized the toy business, but he's just making it seem like it's all elves, you know? The elves have gotten out of hand.
Yeah, I mean, so like talk me a little bit more beat your one, Mitch. So you're like, what do you mean by like the joy?
So
feeling,
I was thinking that the Joy Division are like a team of Christmas creatures that the listener and their crew play, who like break into the wealthy elite elves workshops and like steal their means of production / wealth / happiness units or whatever we decide and redistribute it to the like older elves who, you know, used to make shoes for kids for Christmas, but they don't kids want shoes anymore because
like
they're not in
is
Fortnite.
The idea is the central conceit within your universe that like making the toy is like a form of like your opportunity to make a toy at Christmas is almost like a form of currency within this like elf world.
Yes.
Like
And the like the elves that make the like, you know, that have the specialized skills to make the toys that everyone wants are obviously doing better than the elves that make the toys that people don't want anymore.
Okay.
And they're not like the elves that are getting rich.
Yes,
are keeping
the tech elves versus the old. Yes. Okay. Gotcha.
I did think that we were going to be like a squad of elf mercenaries who were attacking and stealing from rich children.
That's also fun, you know?
It's interesting.
Because I thought it would be like...
they're still kids, you know?
And my thing is, right, you're doing like a... Like, I like the concept Joy Division here is like, some people have too much of the joy. And it needs to be equitably divided. Some people
don't have enough joy. Yeah.
So, you know, I understand that maybe we don't do a full SWAT on Tot. No SWATs on Tots.
No Tot SWATs?
No SWATs on Tots. There's some merch.
But I do think that there's something there, maybe. Yeah. You know? Could there be two, like, poor, broke-ass Santa riding in the passenger side of his best friend's ride? You know, like broke-ass Santa, and then there's like rich, you know,
tech Santa,
Bitcoin Santa.
Bitcoin Santa. Chris.
Christmas, I want Bitcoin.
yeah. You know, there's got to be jokes there.
Well, that could just be WALT PSYCORP in disguise.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's
okay.
Like WALT PSYCORP has gone to the North Pole because he's like, I gotta freeze myself.
No, we're not gonna. Okay, this is a different WALT PSYCORP adventure. I don't want to define where it is in place with the other one.
Yes, I totally agree.
It could be after. It could be.
This is WALT PSYCORP.
Maybe it's a different clone. We established in the first one that there's a lot of different WALT PSYCORP.
There's a lot of
so
WALT PSYCORP is all
literally could be our Deus Ex machina for any story that we ever needed. Okay, fantastic. Okay, I really like the general idea here, but let's start building it kind of front to back, right?
Okay.
So where do we start?
Are we doing this I guess like where are we going with this? Are we doing this like you're in the factory thing, or are we doing
this is what
hit
we've got to
squad?
establish. All right, so are we starting employed to do this, or are we starting, as Jack put it, like we're on the line and we're thinking that we're doing the right thing, right? Like, where do you guys want to start? Should we start just in the action so we can kick to it?
Yeah, and the backstory could be that you were underpaid, like toy-making elves.
Yeah, like that classic scene in Wanted where he hits his coworker with the keyboard and it spells "fuck you" with the keys.
Yeah,
more specific scenes from Wanted. I'm trying to burn as many as possible in.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I sort of imagined the setting like in the North Pole where like instead of everyone being elves, you could be like gingerbread people or things.
I love
like
that. I think that's great. I think broadening it out from just elves is good. Like why
maybe the elves themselves are the ones that have monopolized this business. They started as like friendly toy makers, but over time they've become the elite of the Christmas village. They're now the high rollers. They don't care about producing things. They've automated everything. It all sucks. And a collection of we love ragtags. A collection of ragtag Christmas characters come together to dismantle the elves' monopoly on toy production. Yeah, cool. I love that. We start, I think, pretty much plotting or getting the plot started.
Like
right?
almost like Instant Merriest, right? Like you're on your first hit or whatever. Like,
you're rappelling down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so we start there. Our general arc, let's just establish a general arc before we like put out some details. General arc is eventually we're going to try and blow up the factory, get the big keys. What do you think?
Yeah, so I think we've talked about this idea of like there being a twist that
it's actually WALT PSYCORP.
It's actually WALT PSYCORP.
Oh, what if Santa's with you, but WALT PSYCORP shaved his beard and head, so he just looks like a big fat dude.
Okay.
And he can't convince anyone he's Santa.
Yeah.
And so he has to like do it with you. You're the only people that have listened to him. Everyone thinks WALT PSYCORP is Santa. He's like, he lasered my beard off. It won't grow back. It won't grow back. And he's like, he hits you up. So your squad is like, Sleeping Rough Santa. You've got Gingerbread Man. You've gingerbread person, I should say. You've got other Christmas things. Maybe Rudolph's in the mix.
Yeah, I want it to be like an off-brand reindeer.
Yeah, comments there.
Okay.
Yeah,
like Rudolph, I think, is living it up.
Okay. Yeah, or maybe even not one of the named ones. It's
it's just
like
Stevie,
Jingle or something.
Jingle, Limpin'.
Stumbly. The reindeer.
Stumbly the reindeer keeps falling over.
Stumpy the reindeer.
Stumpy. No.
Stumpy with like 3.5 legs.
Stumpy the 3.5
from a warehouse
reindeer.
Accident. Like got caught in the toy machine.
Oh my god.
Poor Stumpy.
We're not doing Stumpy.
You don't want Stump?
Why no love for Stumpy?
Yeah. What about Rudolph? What about Rudolph the black-nosed reindeer?
Cripes.
It's just a normal reindeer.
Rudolph the regular-nosed reindeer.
Yeah.
Rudy.
Randolph the regular-nosed reindeer.
Randolph the regular-nosed reindeer. Yes.
Okay, fine. Yeah. It's Randolph the regular-nosed reindeer.
Rudolph's brother, Randolph.
Evicted Santa, like a gingerbread person. That's a few characters. Do you have any more just to like what could be there? Not what is, but what could be there.
Chris. Could just be Chris.
Chris.
Yeah. Chris who died.
Chris comes down from heaven and
who died for our sins.
It's me, Chris T. Mass. That's right.
Snowman.
Snowman is good.
Classic.
Snowman, absolutely. Okay, so we've got like
little drummer.
He's there. All of the good ones are there. Loving it. The 3 ghosts from the Scrooge movie and story. All right. Cool. We've got our cast of characters. Any cast of them, any combination of them will do. We're headed from the Christmas village. From the rappelling down. Where are we rappelling into? What's our first target? Our first mission within the toy factory.
I guess if you think about like just a normal structure, this will go well, right? This mission. Then you go away from this and you like, I suppose, get the like next like big thing. And then that we get the twist for WALT PSYCORP. And then you have maybe, I guess, the end, right? Like in terms of, like, high level structure.
You hit like a security outpost.
Yeah.
Where you get the information that you need, a key card that is on Saint Nick's neck.
Yeah, you get the information that will drive your next heist, right? You need to break into this building to do this.
You get told that the key to the operation is in room X, right?
Yeah.
And it turns out the key to the operation is a bound and gagged Santa, right? Oh, no, we have Santa. Yeah. Damn it.
No, but maybe I think that's good.
I think that's better.
That's really cool. You break Santa out, and he's like, all right, the guy leading the whole thing. He's like...
Right, he busts it, and then you do a final attack where you're like, he's not even Santa, though.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. Okay, well, we do have Randolph the regular nose reindeer, so we don't need, shaven Santa. Okay, cool. We go to bust out Santa, security guard outpost, to saving Santa, to learning about the twist, and to the final confront. Yes. Yeah. Christmas confront.
Christmas confront.
Give me more to do here. Like, what bigger? How do we go bigger with this Christmas confrontation?
Yeah, I think maybe before we do that, like, let's think about how you learn about the twist as well, right? Like, we've sort of just skated over the top of that. So,
well, Santa comes out and he's like, it's WALT PSYCORP, famous inventor and doer of strange badnesses.
I wonder if we could, because you would know going into saving Santa that there's this company in the North Pole. Like, that stuff would be apparent, right? Surely if you're involved in this situation, the idea that there's this like big conglomerate.
It's all like
company.
All the new stuff is PSYCORP machinery, right? All the new toy stuff is got PSYCORP.
I feel like that's not so much like that. Just wouldn't be so much of a twist in that universe. I wonder if maybe the real twist is wrapping it back around and like you realize Santa's also kind of like
twist on a twist.
Yeah, not a straight up dude.
Double twist.
Yeah, like you get Santa and WALT PSYCORP in the same room, and Santa just like rips WALT PSYCORP's like head off and just
and it's
paints his coat red again, and he's like, all bloody and stuff. I feel like
gnarly,
like having all these like WALT PSYCORP, like these PSYCORP industry toy production lanes and stuff. And like Santa being like, thanks to the new investments in technology that we've got from partnering up with PSYCORP, ho, 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 I'm still Santa. Our workforce is able to relax and enjoy more, but it's like obviously only for a set few people. But they all still think that that's like Santa that has done all this stuff until this team breaks him out, right?
What? So you're talking about like a fake Santa?
Yeah, like WALT PSYCORP is pretending to be Santa.
Pretending to be Santa.
Talking about like how Santa has transitioned the toy making facilities. That they've done this for everyone. I guess the question in my mind is, what prompts your first attack? Is it just like the shitty situation that you're living in? Yeah,
I think like the way that we've discussed this is that there's like a broad, like you've ganged up beforehand, like in your backstory, you've been like, this sucks. Like we as workers are like oppressed, and like the situation to work in this new sort of North Pole is pretty.
You don't even have dental.
And again, the idea that like this big corporation is no longer giving cheap toys to the masses and giving joy to everyone. It is instead making strange boutique tech toys for the rich, and like you want to divide that joy.
Yeah, it's both.
Cool.
And so then you break into this facility, you find Santa there, like bound and gagged and stuff. You break him out.
Yeah,
he's like,
that's our
we
first
got to
one.
go after the head. He's like on this. I don't know. Maybe he's on like a shipping, like a big ship,
like a mega freighter sort of thing,
container freighter or something,
full of toys,
like
steaming away from the North Pole.
Yeah, it's
Metal
like
Gear
a
Solid.
huge sleigh, right?
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like the thing that it actually goes around the world really slowly and just shoots the toys out now.
It's like a freighter sleigh.
Yeah, it's like this massive, like mechanical caterpillar that you see going past at Christmas that just like turbo shoots toys into rich houses.
Man. PSYCORP's awesome.
PSYCORP's got my vote. Cool. Yeah, I like I like that because it's like it's so far gone. Yeah. Right? At this point, for the last 40 or 50 years, people are fairly familiar with the idea that the naughty and nice list seems to be very much based off whether or not you've got a Rolls Royce in the Gary. Cool. Okay. That makes sense to me. We find Santa. He says, you've got to save Christmas, my dudes. Yeah. I've been in this closet for 45 years. But I'm magic. I know that I need a shower. Don't mention it. Yeah. Let's go save Christmas. Mm-hmm. You're saving Christmas. Final confrontation. You get up to the, mega sleigh that's hurtling around the world and firing out rich presents for only the rich.
You ride on Santa's old sleigh to get up there, maybe.
Awesome. I love
Randolph
that hugely. That's super sentimental and cool. You get up there. Randolph leads it. I just caught that fantastic little addition. You get there. Let's say you're on that sleigh. Are we just like getting to the front and fighting Santa? It's a pretty classic kind of like paint by numbers thing we do.
Fighting WALT PSYCORP.
Sorry, you're WALT PSYCORP.
Yeah, so are we doing the double twist, or are we doing you're just going there and fighting?
I don't know how to do the double twist in a way that makes it clear that Santa has done this for any discernible reason.
For the power of...
He just turns and he's like, haha, I didn't ship myself for 40 years.
I wanted to be locked in a closet for 45 years and shaved bald.
It just, it just doesn't seem like I guess it's not a twist. It's just, let's go fight WALT PSYCORP in this cool thing, which is fine. We don't need to have a twist. It's just like this, like yeah.
I like Santa. He's a cool dude.
You don't want to beat up Santa.
He gives presents.
That's fine.
And let's say instead of you've got to get it so that the machine fires, it just starts firing randomly instead, right? So it just fires gifts into every kid's home instead of,
Instead of the rich ones who pay their PSYCORP subscription fee.
PSYCORP Santa.
Yeah, they're the PSYCORP Plus subscribers.
Yeah.
Subscribe for Santa and you'll get Santa and so much more.
I want to think about this fight with WALT PSYCORP. I want to think about what kind of powers he can bring to bear and what kind of challenges make this fight interesting and exciting.
Before we do that, should we do a side salad?
Oh, we've got so much hearty food here on our Christmas plates.
Not allowed any more Christmas pud until I've had much salad.
Yeah, we've got this sort of scoped out, so let's drop a salad in there. So side salad, my mom has prepared a series of additional random prompts for us to consider in reference to what we've already come up with tonight. I've got them arranged on a wheel here, which I will spin, and we can add some salad to our meal.
Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas. Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas. Bing.
We're on a slippery slope.
Well, it's Christmas.
Okay.
Christmas is a slippery slope, you think?
Well, it's associated deeply with snow and sleighs and toboggans, and we're on a slippery slope. How do we translate that into something exciting and interesting? What if the maybe not the mechanical one, right? Yeah. Just work with me here because it's I've got a nebulous idea. What if the way Santa's sleigh works is by doing the Iceman thing where it creates ice in front of it?
Yeah.
And maybe the big one does it on a big scale, and there's the threat of it crashing or speeding up or getting out of control or Accelerating, like I'd like to use slippery slope as a larger thematic idea that things could accelerate exponentially if we're not careful with something.
Yeah, I like that. A smaller thing that we could do that has occurred to me as well is that we could do like a toboggan sequence when you either like are saving Santa or getting away from that like first bit.
Okay,
Like
what if we start, right? You want it in media res.
Yeah.
You know, like James Bond skiing sequences?
Yes, that is what I'm thinking. I'm specifically thinking, you know, like Modern Warfare 2, where you have that mission where you're on the that's what I'm thinking about.
The like snowmobile.
Snowmobiles, yes.
And you're like shooting off the back of them and you're going down the slope through the trees. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Through the North Pole.
Yeah, and you're trying to get away. Like you break out Santa and like
let's figure out the sequence. Okay, you start with breaking Santa out of a mountaintop prison. Like it's on the top of like a Arctic like sheer mountain or chasm or whatever.
Yeah, it's like the PSYCORP gulag.
Exactly. You break out, and then you are on like snowmobiles, but they're called like automated sleighs or something.
Yeah.
And you have to do like an escape sequence. Yeah, toboggans. And you're autoboggans, right?
Yeah.
And you're going down and you're sliding in between the trees and stuff. And while you're sliding, Santa's like, "Thanks for getting me out, kids." And then he takes the gun. He's like, "Shh, but we got to keep moving." He's like, "This isn't done yet," you know?
Yeah.
Like, we got to keep like, I like that idea that in this one, Santa is like a cigar smoking, like predator character.
Yeah.
And he's just ready to go.
He's jolly, he's ruddy, he's over the top, and he's got a candy cane that folds out into a gun.
Yeah. He's deadly with an LMG.
Yeah. He did, you know, he does one tour of presents every year, and he did 2 tours of Nub. I really like that sequence of events. It's much more cinematic to me, and I like that you've steered away from continuing to develop the scene that we'd already developed. And instead took that somewhere else, and now we've developed something a little earlier on in the plot. Well, with that done, I think that it probably is time for us to buckle down and pick a scene. Yeah. So we now have a smorgasbord to choose from. What do you think, guys? Anything appealing to you?
I mean, I feel like we just said it.
It's busting Santa out.
It's busting Santa out.
At first, I did think it was going to be the big
bit, but
toboggan. But I love
we didn't really talk much about like what WALT PSYCORP is doing up there and how we stop him. So like we could talk about that, and then that may inform whether that scene is particularly awesome or not compared to busting Santa out of the PSYCORP gulag.
Strokes that we have of that are pretty cool. It's like a Metal Gear Solid thing. You're sneaking onto like a massive sort of airbound freighter sleigh thing. Yeah. Like huge multi-story big boat in the thing that has cannons on the side that's shooting out toys. You've got to sneak through this ship, essentially, find WALT PSYCORP and take him out, and change. I like the idea of changing the cannons so it shoots to everyone.
Well, let's ski our way through to some fresh powder here at the Plate Up.
I fell.
Oh no! This part!
Here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeers pulling on the reins. Bells are ringing, children singing, all is merry and bright. So hang your stockings and say your prayers, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. Here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane.
'Tis the night before Christmas, and in the tallest cell of the tallest tower of PSYCORP's northern prison complex sits an old man, head-shaved, cheeks ruddy. You know little of his plight as you scale the walls and deck the hall guards. All you know is that someone valuable is in that room. Someone WALT PSYCORP and his elites don't want anyone to know about. This is your target, you and your Yuletide comrades. Together, you are Joy Division, brave souls who risk PSYCORP's wrath to steal from the operation and gift the Christmas spirit to those less fortunate. The joy of Christmas used to flow freely, but now it barely trickles. A poison has eaten away at the heart of Santa's operation. A poison which flows from the top, from the magic sack of the merry man in charge. You stalk through the complex like cheap battery-powered Christmas lights come mid-December. Total darkness. Randolph, with his nose not bright, guides your stealthy crew tonight. The last thing the guards notice before Sonia Snow swallows them into the deafening center of their snowy mass is a scent of ginger spice. So far, the little drummer is silent, but you can see how much it is costing them. They twirl their drumsticks incessantly, eyes wild, trembling with the urge to drum. You have to hurry now. One wrong cymbal crash could ruin everything. At the foot of the final staircase, Sonia dislodges a flurry of guards, out cold from her central snowball, and you breathe a sigh of relief. Then you hear it and flinch. The little drummer sends a celebratory drum roll echoing through the building before they can stop themselves. You rush onwards, upwards, fearing the jingle of alarm bells, as upstairs, unseen and unnoticed, those ancient eyes sparkle.
As you move into the dark, dank cell, you spot a burly figure tied to a chair in the center of the room. Their face is covered by a rough hemp sack. Their clothes are little more than stained rags, but there isn't a shadow of a doubt in your mind. This is who you came here for. Sonia rushes forwards, cutting their bonds. You step forwards yourself, and with a deep breath, pull the sack from their head. You peer at their face through the darkness. As you hear a raspy, familiar voice, your heart soars.
Looks like you're on the good list this year, kid.
Santa peers back at you. His face is covered in bruises, his right eye swollen shut, his beard messily shaven, but is unmistakably St. Nick. He stands, towering over you all, and for a moment it seems as though everything is going to be all right. Santa is here. He's going to fix everything. You and the rest of Joy Division are going to be okay. And then a shadow of pain flits across his broad face, and he stumbles, leaning on your shoulder for support. Quick, we've got to get him out of here. Drummer boy, take point. We're going loud. Snow, Randolph, cover our backs. We make for the garage. He's not getting out on foot. Keep your heads on a swivel, team. This is the big one. You move through the complex with well-drilled efficiency as sirens wail around you. Drummer boy dispatches guards with sonic bursts. Sonia Snow covers your tracks as you move forwards. Randolph is there too. And finally, you make it to the garage and the suite of turbo toboggans that are your only ticket out of PSYCORP's ghoulish gulag.
The turbo toboggan's engine finally sings to life. You hear the child wonder coils engage. You see the mechanically ready cheek plates sufficiently redden, and then you're off. You fly out of PSYCORP's Yuletide gulag, gaining air off the lip of the exit, Santa clutching to your waist. You hit the fresh powder cleanly, then head into the Christmas tree forest. You hear the roar of your fellow agents' engines, and fresh pursuers in turn. Elves dressed in snappy white commando gear give chase behind, bearing peppermint pack-9s. Bullet impacts shatter pine bark to your left, to your right, but you duck and weave, protecting St. Nick. Then you hear a magical tinkling from behind you, and you hear a clip being loaded into a handgun.
The magic's coming back.
Flurry of shots. Then a pursuing turbo toboggan explodes against a tree behind you.
Aim's coming back too.
You notice the trees thinning out up ahead, and it dawns on you. You're hurtling toward a sheer drop, a cliff face of several hundred meters. You and your crew are under heavy fire. Slowing down is not an option, and the edge is approaching fast. How much magic you got in your sack there, Claus? Santa smiles. His fingers snap, and the thickest, longest stogie you've ever seen appears, visibly overstuffed with holly and mistletoe. He lights the end with a wink as your turbo toboggans hurtle, clattering over the edge. Santa! You prepare to hurtle downwards, but suddenly, you're weightless. Santa grips you with one hand, easily, and in his other hand, his mighty sack of old. Your colleagues, sure of their plummet, instead land atop the billowed sack itself. Santa smiles. then chuckles, then, for the first time in a long time, bursts out in mirthful laughter.
Oh, ho, ho, ho! Guess there's plenty of magic in this old sack just yet.
Seemed like a
And that's our metaphor for erectile dysfunction.
seemed like you challenged yourself to see how many times you could say sack in that. I mean, I'm picking up
Santa's got a big magic
on
sack.
big magic
That's
sack
the
for
only
Santa.
thing.
That's his
And
whole
Randolph is there
deal.
too.
And Randolph is there too.
Randolph is there too. I mean, we had a sack full of pleasure with this one.
Yeah.
Don't speak for
Yeah,
me.
say that, and then I'll thank my mom. It's good.
Yeah, that's yes, of course. With that, the peak of Yuletide pleasure being reached, I think it is safe to call it at the end of a shift here, a holly jolly shift here in the Hook Cook Kitchen. If you have a prompt that you would like us to turn into an episode, you can shoot that through to cooksofhooks@gmail.com or use @hook_cook for the socials.
Yeah, and if you enjoyed this merry little episode of ours, why not share the love, like, subscribe, leave a review, tell your friends, and as the Christmas spirit so moves you, record this episode onto a mixtape and give it to your Kris Kringle. Why not, right?
Why indeed not? Don't answer that question. Happy holidays to Holizna, who we thank for our opening theme, Sailing Away, and a big Merry Christmas to Jack's mum. Thank you dearly for supplying side salads all throughout the
Thanks,
year.
Mom.
Thank you.
I've been Connor, your Christmas critter.
I'm Dishbot playing the role of Jack.
And I am Mitch, your merry monster chef. Are we ho-ho happy, boys?
I'm ho happy.
I guess, yeah.
Chef.
Adult
Are we
Glistening.
still here? Adult
I think
Wisdom.
we're still on the air.
Cool, we're still here on the airwaves on
Yeah, I'm
Pirate
looking
Radio
at
here.
this on-air sign.
On-air sign
Put
is
the
still
blank
on.
computer.
It's still
Still
here.
flashing red. Yep.
Yeah.